Okay, welcome everybody to another Magic video. We're going to be doing another tournament report style video in this one, and then just talking about some modern things, a couple of interesting what's the plays that I had from my tournament at the weekend. Yeah, just designed to be like a casual chat really. I got listening to stuff like this, so I assume other people do as well. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you want more content like this, just something a bit different to just the leagues. But I'm going to be getting back. There'll be some leagues coming up, and then at the end, we'll just chat about what's coming up, I suppose. So yeah, I guess I'll start by saying I went to the Axion Now Mega Modern here in the UK. It was listed as one of the European bigger events on Tournament Centre, and it's probably the biggest modern qualifier we've got here in the UK. They run them every quarter. Biggest kind of competitive scene for Magic in the UK, really. Axion Now. So yeah, went there. I think there was about 80 players, and managed to top 8 with Jund Creativity. So I took this list from Alessandro Parisi, who won LMS Bologna with this. You can check them out. They also published very handily before the tournament of the weekend a full kind of primer and sideboard guide on their Twitter, which I scribbled down furiously and took to the event. So many thanks to them for that, and do go and check that out. So yeah, I was a bit lost as to what to play in Modern, settled on this partly because of the primer and sideboard guide coming out. It's doing powerful things. I think the downfall of rhinos a little bit was a big help for this deck. Force of Negation is very good against us, and we rhinos and the other Cascade matchups were the ones running that really, so you don't see that as much anymore. So Jund, you've got, if people haven't seen the deck before, idea is to make little tokens with things like Dwarven Mine that you can fetch with your fetch land, or Fable of the Mirrorbreaker tokens and stuff, and then creativity them or transmogrify the token to put Archon of Cruelty into play sort of as early as turn 4 with creativity, and you get massive value out of that and try and win off the back of that. You can also, as early as, turn 2 in theory, persist an Archon out of the graveyard, into play with persist. And then the rest of the deck is kind of revolving around kind of, your usual Jund removal, Thought Seizes, Red and 6 stuff. Bit of Reunion to put Archons into the graveyard, and then you can give them haste later on. We'll be doing a league with this in the near future, so if you like the idea of it, do come along and check that out. So I think the deck's pretty well positioned at the moment. Prowess is difficult. I think that's a pretty hard matchup, and I was lucky enough to only play it once at the tournament, but did manage to beat it. But I think you need a lot of removal. And yeah, I don't really know what we could consider running more sideboard cards, but the mana base is very painful as well, which doesn't help. But yeah, I guess just a few tips and tricks for the deck. So I did win a game off the back of Fable and Mirrorbreaker. Didn't even need to put Archon of Cruelty into play. Just had 2 of these, and then end step made 8 or 9 of them, and then swung him to the opponents. That's something cool. Surveil lands. This deck has really benefited from the printing of the Surveil lands. I did manage to luck sack one game on the draw with this. I think the opponent was on Rakdos Scam, and they went turn 2, or they were on the play, turn 2 Delphi Voidwalker. I fetched in response, fetched one of the Surveil lands, put Archon of Cruelty into the bin, untapped, fetched another untapped land, and just persisted it. So they had to sack their creature, and they just couldn't recover from there. Bitter Reunion's an interesting one. The ability to give it kind of pulls double duty, so you can put it into the grave, you can use it to put an Archon of Cruelty into the graveyard, and then you just draw 2 cards, so it's a good way of looting through your deck. And then if you ever manage to persist an Archon and you've got a spare mana, you can give it haste. You can also give Fable of the Mirrorbreaker haste if you want, as in you can give the reflection haste, so you can copy an Archon or anything else, so that's really good. We got Ren and 6 here. Obviously, that is the only green card in the main list, but we have Boseiju in here as well. Boseiju was an interesting one, and it did. There were a couple of games where it really messed me up. I mean, I didn't play against Tron or Titan the entire tournament, but it just be careful with it in your opening hands. Sometimes it's not really a land; it's just a spell that you can buy back with Ren and 6. Notably, it does not allow you to fetch Dwarven Mine untapped and make a dwarf on turn 4. So yeah, do just be mindful of that. In terms of sideboard guide, I would just direct you to Alessandro's Twitter. It's really good. Lots of explanation on around the deck. But we have a lot of green cards in the sideboard. So Terastodon comes in where we want to blow up lands. So against Tron, Titan, just blowing up 3 of their lands and giving them some 3/3s that we can like bolt or push or whatever. It's really good. We got a load of Turn the Earth and Surgical Extraction for the Atraxa Goryo's Vengeance shenanigans. 3 Pick Your Poison. Not really much explanation needed for that one. Just very popular in Modern at the moment. Deals with 1 ring, deals with it as a saga. We have got Emrakul as another threat as well. So this comes in, the obvious one is against Mill, but that's not that popular. But it also comes in where you expect your opponent to have a Necromancer style effect. So yeah, was really happy to make the top 8. I think there was Prowess. I did lose to a Rhinos list that I will be playing shortly for the channel, probably for this Friday Footfalls. But then B Yawgmoth and a load of Zoo. Zoo is really popular. And then I lost my quarterfinal sadly to the Mirror. So the top 8 there were 2 of these in the top 8. I think it was kind of overrepresented for the number of people playing it. There was a Hammer Time, a Yawgmoth, a Rhinos. So yeah, it was quite a diverse tournament overall. Do expect to see a lot of Prowess. I did manage to beat it once, but do bear that in mind if you're running decks into Modern tournaments. I think it's fairly cheap deck and it's very, very powerful with the addition of the new Slick Shot thing. So yeah, do expect a lot of that. And then there's quite a lot of Titan I saw going around. Mono Black Coffers won the whole thing with I think an unbeaten in Swiss. I think I only dropped 1 game in the Swiss. So yeah, do want to explore that. I've never really got on with Coffers, but gonna give that a go. So now I thought we'd just get on to a few what's the plays. They're just interesting to me. I'll just very budget put it on a notepad here. So just I think good examples of decisions that might come up in Magic, and just want to see if you've come to the same conclusion as I did, or if you've done something different. And yeah, I think it's just good to review stuff like this to try and improve and sort of generate a discussion. So the first one we'll have is against Zoo. So I kept a hand that was, I think, 3 land, a Thoughtseize, a Persist, an Archon, and a 3 lands, Thoughtseize, Persist, Archon, and I think something else. The opponent was on Zoo, and they were going first. They mulled down to 5, and then just went land, and then Wild Nickel. So on my first turn, the choice was: do I Thoughtseize myself, discard the Archon, turn 2, Persist? So just think, I guess, what you guys would have done, and let me know if you would have done anything different. So obviously it's a huge sort of swing if you manage to pull it off. You Thoughtseize, you do have to reveal your entire hand to your opponent, and then you get to Persist the Archon on turn 2. They sacrifice a creature, and you're just golden from there. You draw cards, they discard, all sorts of things. But you do have to consider the opponent interacting with you. So any sort of stubborn denial is really bad, but they are only on sort of 3 cards. So the other option is obviously Thoughtseize them. They're already on like 3 cards. You just take whatever's going on. So what would you do? I ended up Thoughtseizing my opponent. Don't know if this is the coward's play, but it did end up working out because the opponent revealed land, stubborn denial, surgical extraction. So I was just able to take I took surgical, knowing that I could play around stubborn denial quite well, and then the opponent had such little gas that we top decked so much better, that just ended up winning that game. So that was the play I took. But do let me know if you'd have gone for it. I do think it is a good strategy. If the opponent doesn't have it, you do kind of just win on the spot, but it does also have that possibility that you just lose on the spot. So the other one that I just thought was quite interesting, I think this is more clear-cut thinking about it, but do just let me know. So it's against Rakdos Scam, game 1. We're both kind of got nothing going on in hand, but the opponent does have Croxer in the graveyard. I've been missing lands for a few turns, so the opponent has nothing in hand, but then they play their 4th land and escape Croxer. And our board is 3 lands, of which one is a fetch. 3 lands of which one is a fetch, and our hand is Creativity and Fatal Push. The opponent is empty-handed and they escape Croxer. What do we do? There's a Croxer trigger on the stack for us to deal with, so we have to discard a card. So what is the play from here? So I almost, so far as I started to say, discard Creativity with the thought of just pushing the Croxer and then taking our draw step. But then just thinking about it a little bit, and that was my kind of gut reaction, get their threat off the field and then try and top deck something. But then I just thought, well, we can fetch a Surveil land, look for one more land. We've then got the Surveil and the draw step to find it. If we find a fetch land or a Dwarven Mine, we can Creativity, kill the Croxer. And in the end, that's what happened. So I discarded Fatal Push, and then fetch Surveil land, Surveil something irrelevant into the graveyard, and then top deck the fetch land, put the Dwarven Mine into play, got the Dwarf, cast Creativity, they sack their Croxer, and just win the game from there. So I think that was I'm definitely happy with the play. I mean, it was the winning play, which doesn't mean, that certainly doesn't mean it was the correct play. Do let me know if you'd have played. I think the Fatal Push is probably a lot more conservative, but I think I'm pretty happy with that play. But do let me know if you would have done something else. So yeah, that's the report. I think Modern is in an interesting place at the moment, with Modern Horizons 3 coming out in the summer. There's been a lot of spoilers going around, so I haven't actually got any Modern events now until August, where there'll be the next Mega Modern. So I'm going to play a few bits and pieces on for the channel, but it kind of feels a little bit like we're in this. There's not as many premier events, with it being Pioneer season for the RCQs. So it just kind of feels a little bit like just a holding pattern at the moment, waiting for MH3 to come out, because people will be trying all sorts, I'm sure. But in the meantime, going to be playing. I'll play a league with this deck just because I do like it. I think it is powerful. There's a few lists I want to go back to. Going to keep trying various Rhinos lists as well, just to see how we can get on with those. Keep that ball rolling. Going to also go and try quite a lot of Pioneer decks, with it being Pioneer season. Usually on Amalia combo at the moment, but going to try a few other bits as well. See if anything else feels really good. Got a few Pioneer RCQs coming up. But if there's anything you guys particularly want to see, do let me know. I hope you enjoyed this style, sort of more podcasty type video. But do let me know if there's any content you'd like to see specifically more of, less of. And yeah, certainly let me know any tips or tricks with any of these decks, or yeah, if you would have done anything different in those what's the plays, or if they're so obvious that I should have just immediately realized, do let me know. So yeah, thanks very much for watching / listening, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers.